Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I thought we would break this down into two videos because there was so much racing on Saturday, lots to talk about, and I'm going to talk about the ones from Friday and earlier on in the week first, and then move on to Saturdays, but in two different videos. So the first horse I want to talk about that I thought was very eye-catching was Dubrovnik Harry, who finished third in a maiden hurdle at Exeter. I thought the form of the race going into it was quite strong, and Dubrovnik Harry has really ran on strongly on debut. He's definitely one that can pick up a similar type of race for Harry Fry. So just keep an eye on Dubrovnik Harry. I think will improve for his debut effort at Exeter, and caught my eye running on strongly. Second horse I want to talk about is Champagne Well. Now, obviously, we were on Champagne Well for the Silver Trophy at Chepstow. He disappointed. He then bounced back over hurdles, winning at 20-1, and then finished fifth, going back over fences at Sandown. If you go and watch that race, he's jumped rather appallingly, very sticky at so many fences, didn't get into a rhythm, and yet turning for home, he still looked like he put himself back in with a chance of going close. Before fading again late on. Now, I understand why they went over fences. He's rated 132 over fences compared to 137 over hurdles. So, if he took to fences, he was nicely handicapped. It didn't work first time. They went over fences. He finished third, and second. I think it hasn't worked again. And I hope they drop him back over hurdles again. 137, I don't think is beyond him at all. I think he showed enough over fences despite jumping poorly to demonstrate that he is in reasonable heart. His win at Plumpton was a good effort, beating the bomber Liston. He went up £5, but I think he can win off 140, 142 over hurdles. So I wouldn't be against seeing him back over hurdles next time. And I don't want to give up on Champagne Well. He's well up for us, obviously, having won for us at 20-1, but I'm still keen to see him go back over hurdles and hopefully back into the winner's enclosure. Mr. Whitaker finished second over hurdles for Donald McCain, and that's now 2 seconds and a win. And hopefully that's the end of his hurdles campaign, and they go back over fences now and try and find a decent handicap with him. I do think these runs were confidence boosters, and after winning at Kelso, they thought, let's have a look, let's see how good he is over hurdles. Is it worth sticking to hurdles and trying to find a decent race? I think the fact he's finished second, for me, says no point staying over hurdles. Go back over fences, try and find a handicap, potentially back at the Cheltenham Festival. He's run well there on many occasions, so that's where I hope they go back with Mr. Whitaker. Quintilly Burbus won at Exeter in the 3-mile 6 race, and on a free Friday on ITV Racing, it was lovely to have a top-rated winner like that. 25-1, 31 on Betfair, so 30.0 or 30-1 winner, which was excellent. A little bit of bigging up Rating the Races there. Two horses that caught my eye in the final race of the day at Sandown were Mr. Harp and Owl Dancer. Now, as I've explained before, if the horse that I think is going to win the race wins it, I really believe the form. And on this occasion, we had Pillion, who had come from the race with Desharaba, who today has run an absolute cracker to finish second. Remastered was going to go close in the whatever race, the Ladbroke Trophy. And the winner, Kashari, hasn't been seen since. But as you know, if the form works out well from a horse that I really like, I like to look behind that. And I think there was two that really stood out here. Owl Dancer, who's finished fourth. I actually thought he'd finished third. Who finished third? Owl Dancer must have just finished fourth. And Mr. Harp, who's finished fifth. Owl Dancer has looked much better than what he had done over fences. Hurdled pretty good, but just seemed to get outpaced. Even over this 3-mile trip, he seemed to get outpaced before running on again. Now, I don't want to see him go back over fences, although he's got a little bit of confidence back. I think there's an angle to continue with him over 3 mile, over hurdles. There's a race at Aintree that could certainly suit. And I just want to give him another chance over hurdles, over 3 mile. Obviously, he's very, very talented on his day. He just needs a bit of confidence, which I think he's now got. And it wouldn't surprise me if he pops up in a decent handicap next time and runs a really big race. The more obvious one, I feel, in terms of where he goes next, is Mr. Harp. Now, Mr. Harp definitely wanted softer conditions. All of his best form has been on soft and heavy going, and I thought he ran well despite the conditions at Sandown. If it had been softer, I think he would have got a lot closer. He got badly outpaced turning in, looked like he was going to drop away, and quietly out of picture, he's run on really strongly. Now, he's finished 5th. Where do I think he goes next? Surely it's to Warwick in January. Beginning of January, there's a 3 mile one that he finished 2nd in last year. But I think crucially, who did he get beat by? Was it a poor horse? No. Imperial Alcazar, and 3rd was Come On Teddy. Now, I really like both of those two horses. I think they've both got more to come. Imperial Alcazar went off the 11-2, was it favourite or second favourite for the Pertemps final. And Come On Teddy, he finished 3rd. Where did he finish 3rd? Was it in the Pertemps final itself? Let's just double check. He finished 3rd in the Pertemps final itself. So that was a really good effort. Finishing 2nd to the horse who went off the 11-2 second favourite, I think, and the horse who finished 3rd in the actual race itself at the Pertemps final. Well, Mr. Harp is nowhere near that sort of level. I think he would need to win to get in the Pertemps final, but I certainly think this is where they'll be coming back for this Pertemps qualifier, and I would be very surprised if Mr. Harp doesn't go very, very close in that. Surely that's the target. The final one I want to talk about from earlier on in the week was a horse called Nurse Susan. Now, I highlighted this race that Nurse Susan was going to run in at Leicester as a race that I thought will work out quite well. And if Nurse Susan wins and beats Zabeel Champion, then I want to put Nurse Susan in a horse that really deserves following. And Nurse Susan very comfortably beat Zabeel Champion, quickened away really impressively after the last. Now, where do I think Nurse Susan could go? I'm interested to see what handicap mark Nurse Susan gets. Nurse Susan is owned by the same people who own Langadan. Now, obviously, they won the Imperial Cup, went to the Cheltenham for the bonus, and finished 2nd. Wouldn't surprise me if Nurse Susan gets a decent handicap mark, as in a workable handicap mark, whether that's where they aim at Nurse Susan, even at this stage of her career. Her career? I'm going to say her. Yes, of her career. Even at this stage of her career, it wouldn't surprise me if Nurse Susan is aimed at the Imperial Cup, trying to be an unexposed winner of that, and going on to the Cheltenham Festival and trying to find a race there. Obviously, this is Dan Skelton. If they think Nurse Susan is experienced enough, the county hurdle would definitely come into play. But I think also the Martin Pipe could come into play for Nurse Susan. But I definitely want to add Nurse Susan as a horse to be interested in going forward for the rest of the season. So that's the horses from the week. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 I want to talk about from Saturday, and that'll be in the next video.